まゆです。Welcome back to my channel! 本日はですね、ブルックリン東京というチャンネルを運営しているきょうさんにインタビューをしていきたいと思います。イエーイ！彼は動画に対するね、リアクションビデオとかを上げてらっしゃるんですけど、日本にね、来たことがあるということで、日本に来た時の経験だったりだとか、ちょっとセンシティブな話題になるんですけど、その時に受けた差別みたいなものがあったら、それを聞いていこうかなというふうに思います。そして日本とアメリカの差別だったり、どういう風にね、感じるかの違いだったりみたいなところを聞いていければなと思います。それでは早速お楽しみください。どうぞ。Can you briefly introduce yourself?
こんにちは皆さん、Kyouです。I run a YouTube channel called BrooklynTokyo. We just react to various types of Japanese videos, or we also talk about various Japanese topics of culture, politics, and it's just anything centered around Japan.
Perfect, thank you. You came to Japan a while ago, right?
I came to Japan in 2014 and 2015.
And what was your experience like? Was it different from your expectation?
I definitely would say it's everything I was looking forward to and more. I think my preparation for going definitely helped me because I was researching Japan since 2011. So by the time I went to Japan, I was already mentally prepared for everything because I made sure I knew what I was getting myself into. But then when I also went there, I had one of the best experiences of my life. I met some of the best people, and honestly, it was definitely a huge impact in my life going forward. But I had the best time in Japan, honestly.
Amazing. Okay. So what exactly did you prepare? What did you learn beforehand?
Well, before I went, I definitely was learning the language, at least some basic Japanese, so I could at least communicate with people. But also cultural values and more about the Japanese culture, how to interact with people, what's considered rude, what to do, what not to do, a little bit of the history, so I don't feel like a fish out of water. Because a lot of times people may travel to a different country and not really research the social etiquette of that country. So I made sure that I wasn't acting like an American when I was over there. So mainly the language and the etiquette, yeah.
That's impressive though, because I feel like not so many people prepare so much to just visit a country, you know? So I really respect what you did there. That must have made your experience much better.
Yeah, I think sadly I think more people should be doing that, but I guess most people don't really care, especially if you're just traveling and not really trying to live there.
Oh yeah.
But I think it would definitely make life easier if people understood the cultural etiquette of places they go to, for the people living there and as well as for the traveler, him or herself.
That's really true. When my black friend from the US came to visit me in Japan, he said that he felt like he was constantly stared at the whole time almost. Did you feel that too? Do you have experiences similar to that?
Yes. I mean, when I was in the major cities like Kyoto and Tokyo, I didn't get that as much because I'm pretty sure those people are very used to seeing foreigners. But definitely when I went to places like Ibaraki and Okayama, where there's not much foreigners, I got a bit more stares. But I mean, to me, it didn't make me feel uncomfortable because I already knew what to expect. I mean, imagine if you lived in a country where you are a part of the country where you barely see people who don't look like you. Of course, when someone finally comes, you're gonna be very impressed. So it didn't bother me at all because I expected it to happen. But also, at the same time, I wasn't paying much attention to it as well. I tried not to make myself feel uncomfortable about it.
I see. Well, my friend didn't really, he was interested in coming to Japan and he was interested in the culture, but he didn't really know what to expect coming here. So I guess that's a huge difference.
Research and preparation can be the difference between light and day, honestly. Yeah.
I see, yeah. So how was being black in Japan different from being black in the US? It's a tough question. Sorry.
Yeah. I mean, to me, I think I have a different perspective than most people. Also, most people will say that because I haven't lived in Japan for a long period of time, I wouldn't be able to really sense or experience the racism there. So I mean, I can just go based off my experience and based off what I've learned from research. To me, like, I didn't feel any different because in my experience in America, I'm completely fine. I don't feel discriminated against in America. I think it's where you live, the people you hang around with, or also your mentality. Definitely a thing for me when I was going to Japan is that I wasn't looking for racism. I think if you look for something, you will find it even if it's not what it is. So my mind wasn't fixated on like, oh, well, the Japanese like me because I'm black or whatever. It's more like I'm going there to have a good time and to meet great people, and that's exactly what I got. I didn't get any discrimination. Honestly, some of the best hospitality I've ever had in my life came from the Japanese people. I just think if you make an effort to try to connect with people, they'll reach out to you even more. So for people who may feel a certain way, I would say, like, are you doing your best to try to connect with those people? Because if people see you make an effort to connect with them, they're definitely gonna do that for you. In my experience, and from what I've researched, like, I don't think Japan is racist or discriminatory, and I had the greatest time of my life, so.
That's really beautiful how you think. I think if you are trying to get to know people, being polite to people here, you don't experience something you don't like. I think I did almost the same thing when I was in the US. Like, I tried to accept the culture. I also tried to show my culture.
A lot of people bring their own culture and history from their country to a different society. And what I always say to people is that, you know, Japan has a different historical background and dealing with racism as well. Most Japanese probably don't know too well about America's history, about what's happened to blacks or colored people or so on. So I think it's very unfair to judge another society based off your experiences from your culture. Also understand the uniqueness of Japan. It's 98% homogenous. So it's not like they're the melting pot, let's say America or other Western countries. They're very Japanese, so they're only used to their own. It's similar anywhere you go. I mean, in America, there's groups of people who've never talked to other groups of people. Like, I've met a lot of blacks who haven't really interacted with whites. I've met a lot of whites who haven't interacted with Latinos and so on. 'Cause a lot of people who live in a bubble, they think a certain way. You know, I don't think you should judge Japan off of America's history because it's a completely different mindset, completely different history and people.
Yeah, definitely. I didn't realize how unique Japan is until I went to another country. It was completely new for me, but I didn't like refuse them. I tried to accept them and like try to understand them. So that's what makes our experiences different. And I think if you put yourself in a bubble, I think it would be difficult too, and you would feel discriminated. If you were looking for racism, yeah, you would see it, you would feel it. Yeah.
So that's not. I think that's very, very much so accurate. And of course, I'm not saying, you know, there isn't racist people in Japan. Even if you have experienced it, I don't think it defines the whole country. Because sometimes someone's experience can speak louder than the actual reality of the situation. I think, like you said, if you try to reach out to people, understand people, I think you'll get a better understanding of things. And for example, like, you know, a lot of black people get offended when they go abroad and people want to touch their hair, you know, because it's very different. But to me, it was like, oh yeah, go ahead, because I mean, I understand, like, I guess it's just the way I think. Is like, these people have never experienced someone like me, so I want to give them the best experience they can have. It's more about trying to help expose people to the West, and it's worked because I'm not trying to toot my own horn, and I say this in the most humble way possible, but everyone loved me because of how welcoming I was and how, you know.
Yeah, I can tell.
I think when I had that mentality, my outcomes changed because how you think out what you believe. So if you believe Japan is racist or you're gonna meet racist people, that's what you're gonna act like, and that's what you're gonna experience. So I hope that makes sense.
Yeah, it does. I'm sure that there are racist people in Japan and in the US. Like, I've met some of them, but I think don't surround yourself with these people. It's much better to, you know, go talk to people who you like, who you feel comfortable with. I didn't have much racial discrimination in the US because I tried to hang out with people who I like and who accepted me as I am.
Right.
That's very similar to your experience, I guess. in terms of racial discrimination, which one do you feel safer, better to live, US or Japan?
Honestly, I think I would do well in both. Despite the narrative that's being placed in the West, I don't believe America is a racist place. I also believe how you live your life depends on how people treat you. So also watch your image as well. And I think because the mentality that I have, I would succeed anywhere I go. So even if I did face racism wherever I went, I wouldn't let it stop me from enjoying my life, because I can't let that one thing stop me from pursuing my goals and just enjoying my life. I would succeed either or. I hope that's not like a very arrogant way of answering the question, but
No,
yeah.
I can like see you being liked by a lot of people. Like you're so friendly, and I think I like the way you think.
Because I've made friends with all people. I have white friends, I have black friends, I have Asian friends, I have Indian friends, I have Latin friends. Like, I guess that mentality has made me successful because I don't live in a bubble and I don't think in a bubble. So, yeah, what you said is true. And I'm pretty sure for you as well, you probably made a lot of friends as well. Having that mentality.
I was so happy that I was able to connect with people from all over the world. For me, it was just interesting, like to talk to people from different backgrounds. So that was my motivation. I think, that's what I wanted to ask, and it wasn't really what I expected. Like honestly, I thought just like my friend felt he was alienated or something when he first came to Japan. Many people talk about racism in Japan, racism in the US. So it was a new perspective for me to talk to you. The way you think it's really beautiful.
本当ありがとうございます。
いや、ありがとうございます。またぜひ日本にいらしてください。はい、いかがでしたでしょうか。いやね、もう本当に素晴らしい考え方だなってもうただただ思いました。やっぱりなんか差別とかってね、あったりとかするとは思いますし、なんかそういうすごく固い考え方の方とかっているんですよ。だけどなんかそうじゃなくって結局自分のマインドセットみたいなものが重要っていう風におっしゃってて、いや間違いないですし、なんかすごく重要なことだなと思います。なんか海外に旅行に行くだけでもそういうマインドセットを持ってるのだとやっぱ経験も違ってきますよね。どれだけ自分がこうハッピーになれるかって確かにその自分がその国に行くためにどのくらい準備をしたか、言葉だったりもちろんですけど文化的な面だって失礼のないように、自分はもう日本人だから日本の決まりを守るっていう形ではなくってね、その国のしきたりとかをリスペクトしてそれをアクセプトしながらっていうのがねすごく大切だなって再認識させられました。ブルックリン東京さんのチャンネルの方でも私の英語についてだったりだとか、あとはアメリカに行った時のカルチャーショックみたいなところについて話してるので、ぜひそちらもチェックしてみてください。最後まで見ていただいてありがとうございました。バイ